Hello my dear health seekers, Inga here and welcome to week 13 of Meal Prep for Weight Loss show. So today I'm going to be cooking two new recipes from Forks Over Knives cookbook. So it's going to be split pea soup and Mexican style bean and rice casserole. So let's begin. So we're going to start with making a split pea soup. I've got quite a lot of split peas and I never use them, so I really need to start incorporating them into meals, and they are delicious in soups and stews. So I've got my Instant Pot, so I'm going to put it on saute mode. So what we want to do, you don't need to, if you don't have Instant Pot, you don't need to use that. You could just use a normal pot and fry. Sorry about that. So you can use a normal pot and just fry it. If you've got stainless steel pot, you could heat it up until the right temperature, and you can fry the ingredients there and then cook it on the stove as normal. Or you could use a frying pan to fry your ingredients and then add it all to the pot and cook it on the hob for 50 minutes. Whereas in the Instant Pot, because it's much quicker under pressure, it'll take me about 30 minutes under pressure. But first things first, our ingredients. So I've got the Holy Trinity as usual. So this is 1 large onion chopped. The recipe says 1 stick of celery, but I've added 2 because I normally, like adding a little bit of celery, and normally add 2 pieces to soup or stews. So this is 2 sticks. And then 1 medium carrot, also diced. So these are the 3 ingredients that we're going to be frying here in the Instant Pot. Is it on? I think it's on. So it's heating up. So the way you know that your stainless steel pot, if you don't, if you've got a non-stick pan, then that's fine. That's great. You don't need to wait until specific temperature. As long as you can feel it's hot, then that's fine. With the stainless steel, I've already shown you on my channel how you test. You basically drop a water droplet in, and if it rolls around and doesn't evaporate, then it means it's good enough temperature for not to stick. So this is not quite hot enough. I need to wait for a couple more minutes. So I'm adding my onion. My onion, celery, and the carrot. And I'm gonna saute this for about 10 minutes. And when it starts sticking, I'm gonna add a couple of tablespoons of stock here. I've got some stock. And keep on frying, so about 10 minutes for it to start browning nicely, cooking through. So the vegetables have really browned, as you can see. I think I've kind of left them a little bit too long at one point, so they got really caramelized and brown. Once you deglaze it, then obviously all that burnt or brown sugar gets coated onto the vegetables. So if you are frying in a Instant Pot, be careful not to leave it alone. Just you need to be there mixing and looking after. So I've just added my garlic for the last minute. I need a little bit more stock there. So I'm adding garlic for the last minute. And then we're gonna put all other ingredients in here and gonna set off to cook for 30 minutes. So I can smell the garlic. It's getting really aromatic. Yeah, be careful not to burn your garlic. It only needs a minute. So that's it. So it's been nearly a minute. So I'm gonna add 1 large sweet potato chopped. That will give the creaminess to the soup. It'll kind of disintegrate into the soup, so that will be nice. So 1 large chopped potato. So this is the star of the show, the split peas. So this is 1.5 cups of yellow split peas I'm adding. In it goes. Then we've got a bay leaf, adding that in. And then we also have, let's have a look. We've got some spices. So we've got rosemary. So this is rosemary. It says 2 teaspoons minced rosemary, so that must be fresh. Because this is a dried one, I'm going to use 1 teaspoon. So 1 teaspoon of dried rosemary. And then the same of thyme. So if you've got fresh, you put 2 teaspoons of minced. And I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of dried. And then it's got 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, so that will give it a nice kind of smokiness to the soup. So 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. And my little addition is the tops of carrots. So I've just had some fresh carrots that I chopped the tops off and chopped them up, and I'm going to add it to the soup just to use it up. I don't know what kind of flavor it's going to give it, but I know it's edible, so that's good enough. You know, in this kind of pandemic, self-isolation, and you know, some food scarcity, we need to try. I'm zero waste and low waste anyway, anytime, but now even more so, we need to try and utilize all of the food as we can. So in it goes, and then it was 6 cups of stock, so vegetable stock. So I'm just gonna pour that in. It's a little bit less than 6 cups left now because I've been adding when I was frying, but that should hopefully be enough. In fact, I think just to be safe, I might just add one extra cup of water just for the evaporation of, you know, adding stock while I was frying the veggies. So I'll add 1 extra cup of water in here, and then we're gonna cook it. So adding that extra cup of water here. Just don't want it to become like a stew. We want it more soupy, so and the split peas will expand obviously in there. So I'm just gonna take it off saute mode, and I'm gonna put it on pressure for 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna let it naturally release. So if you were cooking on the stove, get it to boiling point and then simmer it on kind of low medium on about 50 minutes. Okay, so 50. Because I'm doing it in the pressure cooker, it'll take a little bit of time to get to pressure, and then it'll be 30 minutes, and then we'll check once it's finished. So it has been 30 minutes, and in fact probably another 20 minutes after that. The pot has naturally released now, so let's have a look. Wow, it's actually really thick. Ooh, it's looking lovely. So I'm gonna just dish a little bit for myself. I need a spoon. I'm really intrigued to see what it tastes like. So let me give this a go. It's going to be very hot though. Yummy. The split peas, they are actually really cooked in there, almost disintegrated. Yummy. So the soup is quite nice and thick actually, without having to thicken it with anything, but yet it's not a stew. Well, you could call it soup slash stew, but I think it's more still on the soup side, but yummy. This is delicious. So let's get on with the second recipe. So this is 1 onion chopped up. This is 2 sticks of celery that I've chopped up. So this is my addition here. 1 large red pepper, diced as well. So I'm adding it here. Also 2 medium or 1 large, I've used 1 large zucchini here. So I'm going to add that in. I just really liked the dump and bake idea of that casserole. It worked really well, so that's what I'm going to try and implement here. And there's a few bits of celery leaves as well, so I'm just going to add these in as well. I've got some garlic, so I'm going to try and distribute some in one, some in the other. 3 cloves of garlic, by the way, here. I'm going to put all the ingredient amounts in the description below as well. This is 2 cups of cooked black beans. So I'm just going to add that in. And then the last thing is the rice. So this is brown whole grain basmati rice, non-cooked. So I'm just going to distribute it between the 2 pans here. And going to mix everything up, and we're going to make this kind of cheesy, Mexican-y, slightly spicy sauce that will make this Mexican kind of bean and rice casserole.
Apologies about this strange filming angle. I forgot to get my main camera rolling, but basically I'm doing an adaptation of this forks over knives Mexican style bean and rice casserole. Instead of frying onion and pepper like the recipe suggests, I'm just copying my chickpea and rice dump and bake casserole from last week, where I'm just dumping all the ingredients into these roasting tins, and I'm gonna be pouring a sauce over them, and the sauce is also my own creation.
So I've got the sweet corn as well. I haven't got fresh sweet corn, so this is a tinned one, 2 little tins. So about 2 cups of sweet corn, it says, and I'm going to pour it in together with all the water as well, because we want a bit of liquid. So, oh yummy, I can already imagine how yummy this is going to be. I love sweet corn so much. So a little bit here, and then the rest in here. I'm gonna mix that through. So much flavor and so much color in here, so much goodness. So that's those mixed up. So now we're gonna make our cheesy kind of sauce to pour over this. So this was a boiling 2 cups of stock. They're kind of cooling down a little bit while I'm making this, but I've got 2 carrots that are boiled. So 2 boiled carrots, and I've got a handful of cashews that I've soaked for about half an hour in boiling water, about 20 minutes to half an hour in boiling water. So a handful of cashews. Then I've got a half a cup of nutritional yeast. So that will give the cheesiness. Oh, I forgot, I need some acid here. We definitely need some acid, so I'm going to bring some apple cider vinegar. Because the nutritional yeast together with some kind of acid gives anything you mix in kind of cheesiness, cheesy flavor. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar here. Right. Then I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. So all the spices that we need to mix in there, we're actually gonna make it in the sauce because it'll be easier to just pour. It'll distribute better. and then about a tablespoon and a half of freshly made cumin. So I made this batch maybe 2-3 days ago. So about 1 tablespoon of seeds, it says in the book, toasted. So I reckon it's about a tablespoon and a half. So I'm adding that. I'm gonna add a half a teaspoon of salt here as well, because we're adding stock already, so we don't want to make it too salty, so half a teaspoon should do. And then, because it's a Mexican thing, it's supposed to have chipotle pepper in there, I'm gonna add some chili flakes, but I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm gonna add just half a teaspoon of chili flakes. I think it'll still be quite spicy for us. And then I'm gonna add this stock in here, and we're gonna blend it, make like a cheesy kind of sauce. And if we need more stock, I've got some hot water and stock powder ready here. We might need to just top it up a little bit, because this is quite a bit of produce here. So I've got my handheld mixer, and I'm gonna just blend it. So the reason I've added 2 cups of stock in here, it's very runny sauce, but it doesn't matter, it'll kind of thicken up because the rice will absorb it. The reason I put 2 cups in is because we've got 1 cup of rice, and it normally needs 2 cups of water, so that's why we need all that liquid. And I also added a little bit of water from the corn, you know, the sweet corn as well. So I'm gonna try and cover this and distribute it as even as I can get it. And I think we need a little bit more. Maybe I'll add another cup of water with some stock, just to make sure that it's going to have enough moisture to cook the rice. So a couple of teaspoons of stock powder. Mix it up, and we're gonna add a little bit more in here, just so that it definitely soaks in the rice. Perfect. Yeah, so I think a good indication is if you can see kind of water coming up a little bit and submerging the vegetables. Not too much, but just submerging it a little bit. So there we go, just to make sure it's pretty much same kind of moisture. Now I've got those ready. I've got my oven preheated on 200 degrees Celsius, and we're gonna cover the glass dishes with some parchment paper and also some tin foil. If you don't want to put parchment paper in between the tin foil and the dish, you could just put that straight on top of it, but I kind of like, because it's aluminium, I like to have this protective layer of parchment paper on top, just to prevent it touching food, really. So I'm gonna just scrunch it up and cover the top, and we're gonna put it in the oven for 60 minutes on 200 degrees Celsius. And I'm going to do the same with this one. Cover with the parchment paper and then shiny side up. Gonna cover with the tin foil as well. Perfect. So now these are ready to go into the oven for 60 minutes and I'm gonna catch up with you then. The Mexican bean rice casserole is done. So it's looking pretty good and it smells really good. The kitchen was really smelling. And let's see if the rice has cooked through. It's plenty of liquid, it's plenty of moisture. So that's good. It didn't dry out. So yeah, so let me try a little bit and see what I think. I'm glad I made, 2 bits, so there's going to be more, and we could have that with any kind of grain, whether, in fact it's got some rice in it already, but you could still eat it with different kind of grain, or just have it with salad. And in wraps as well, it will work in wraps too. Yum. You can definitely taste distinctive cumin taste. It's delicious. Definitely a great recipe. So let's get overview of all the meal prep. This is the lot this time. I did not have much time to cook any grain. We might have this with pasta as well, which is, we're going to just do it on the day. It's fairly quickly and easily done. And as you can see, so this is the split pea soup. Oh my goodness, that's delicious. I think out of the 2 dishes, I think split pea soup is just winning for me actually. But the bean and rice Mexican casserole is also delicious, and I'm glad that it's not too spicy either. I probably could have added a little bit more chili flakes because I couldn't taste any spiciness actually. But yeah, those 2 dishes, oh my goodness, really good. I think the split pea soup will probably become our staple every week or every second week or so, because it's just so delicious, creamy, and so much goodness in it, and it's so simple. There's not like a ton of ingredients, but it's just so yummy. And then I've made my Mars bars. I'll link to the recipe for you below, and also my apple cake. So I've got a recipe that I've just posted a couple of weeks ago, which is like my childhood apple cake, but this time I've actually added some okara, and it's looking, the texture is looking pretty good. Let me just take it out for you. So the texture is a little bit more kind of sticky, a little bit doughy, but it's still very delicious. And then I've got some pita breads that will have, this Mexican bean and rice casserole with. And then, of course, as usual, we have some greens in the shape of kale, some spinach, we've got frozen berries, we've got bananas for smoothies, we've got some seeds for our smoothies as well, and lots of veggies like tomatoes, courgettes, Chinese leaf, spring onions, that kind of thing for making salads, because we normally have a salad with every main meal. So that is it from me. I hope you like week 13, of this meal prep for weight loss show. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, welcome to the channel and subscribe for more videos, meal prep for weight loss show on Saturday and recipe videos every Wednesday. And remember, food is fuel, so be mindful of what you put in the body. Until next time.